Welcome to American Legion Baseball action on Channel 15 Sports. You're looking at the coaches and the umpires getting set to exchange the lineups and the ground rules before we start this 9-inning game. Windsor, post 25 in the green, taking on Rutland, post 31 in their red, white, and blue uniforms. Post 31 with a 1-1 record at this point in the season. They're 0-1 in league play. They lost to Hartford 8-5 the other day. Windsor 0-2. They were rained out yesterday down in Bellows Falls. And game time temperature 82 degrees. And I know that because I watched the Channel 15 bulletin board and saw the weather map up. And you can do that too. And you can also go to the website, PEGTV.com, or you can call them at 747-0151. But when we come back up from the fade, we will have American Legion baseball action for you throughout the summer, all summer long. See Big Zach Aquistapes out there. He'll be the starting pitcher against Windsor today for post 31. And talking to Zach's dad, Dr. Frank Aquistapes, prior to the ball game, I always say things without thinking it through. And great points brought up by Zach's father. Remember, Zach suffered that very severe broken leg, that leg injury during the past high school football season. So a lot of the difficulties he's experienced here early on in Legion season pitching wise is just because he's trying to learn how to land on his ankle and get the feel back from the injury. And good point to be brought up. We'll see if he's getting any closer to being back at 100%. He did pitch earlier in the season against Greenville. Had some good moments, had some bad moments, but he's a pitcher, he's a big guy, and when he's on, he's devastatingly good. It's a warm day, it's a humid day, it's a cloudy sky. And two teams that should be pretty evenly matched up. And I'll go around the horn now and tell you the defense. You're going to have Garrett Brewer at first base for Rutland, post 31. Chris Parker at second. Matt Sharon will be the shortstop. Jeff McLaughlin's in third base position. Anthony LaPlaca is the catcher. Sean McGuire, Rob Dorian, and John Holtman. That is the outfield. And Shane Tansey up. To be followed in the batting order by Tyler Varney and Greg Borkman. So we are good to go, and we are set. And the first pitch of the afternoon in a 9-inning game will be just a tad bit outside or low. It was close, but he didn't get the call, so it will be ball one. 1 ball, no strikes. We're underway. And a pitch coming in. It's going to be through the hole at third. Nice try by McLaughlin, but it's going to be a single the opposite way for the left-handing Tansey, and he'll be at first base to get things started off for Windsor. And Windsor High School had a excellent high school baseball team this year, so I'm expecting Windsor post 25, which inherits most of those players, to have a good team this year. And this is Varney up. Swing and a miss on that good-looking pitch down and inside by Aquistapes. The runner is being held on by Brewer over at first base defensively. And there's the thrower to first. And you can tell he was back well ahead of the throw. And LaPlaca behind the plate with a very good, strong, accurate arm. We're only in the third game of the season at the point of this airing on television. But already LaPlaca's thrown some base runners out. And there's another thrower to first. And he just beat that. That was a much better move by Aquistapes and a much closer play at first base than the first attempt. And I missed it because I was taking a drink of water, to tell you the truth, but he was back safe right there. It's a humid day. It's a hot day. Players got to stay hydrated, and the camcorder guy for Channel 15's got to stay pretty hydrated too. And the pitch from the stretch will come in and be stopped. In the dirt, kept the ball in front of him. Placarded. The runner stays at first base. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank the people here at Post 31 and the concessions area to make sure I am hydrated, plenty of cold water. And I do appreciate that very much. Got a 1-1 count. It seems like it should be a lot more to Varney, but there's been a lot of throws over to first base. That one will come inside and break off from the plate, and it'll be 2 balls, 1 strike. Again, the rest of the order is Borkman hitting in a third spot. Andrew Robbins is hitting cleanup. And Aquistapes, that's going to be foul, out of play. It'll be actually way out of play. It'll be over toward Otter Creek over the fence and gone. We'll have a 2-2 count now. And like I said, Aquistapes, once he kind of gets honed in on being comfortable, he can strike out 5, 6, 7 in a row, and that's going to be safe. Boy, I tell you, those are getting closer and closer, those plays over at first base for that runner. And he went breaking ball, and that's going to be a wild pitch, and they'll allow the runner now to get down to second base. There he is. So Windsor in good shape to go to runner at second base with nobody down in a 3-2 count. on Varney. And Equistapace did play through the, he recovered very quickly actually to get back from football into hockey. That's a whole different thing. Skating, it's a different motion, different muscles, and coming down, landing on your ankle. He's a big guy, like I said, he's over 200 pounds. Oh, beautiful pitch. Oh, just a great pitch. Got him looking at strike 3 right on the inside corner. Jammed him inside, fastball all the way. Great call, whether it was the catcher or the pitcher, but that was a nice call right there. Didn't mess around, just took care of business. Got one out, and a runner at second, and now another lefty up there. It's going to be Greg Borkman. He'll be the shortstop for Windsor when they come out in the field defensively. And that's going to allow the runner to get down to third base. There he goes, and Tansey will have a walk, a wild pitch and a wild pitch, and that turns into a triple, and that's where he's at on third base now with one out. And Andrew Robbins, the catcher, he's the on-deck hitter for Windsor. And the outfield, good arms out there, real good arms. There's going to be a strike. Got Robbie Dorian out in center field. He's just so technically sound with all his mechanics. He just gets tremendous range and speed and good velocity on his throws. There's a big old lollipop for a ball. And then McGuire's just strong, again technically sound in his form. He throws well from left field. And John Holtman, and right fielder, same deal. So when a ball hits the outfield on a fly ball, it's not an automatic thing that they're going to score, and it's going to be fouled back for a strike. Again, that was right in on the fist. Nice pitch by Equistapace, so make it 2 balls, 2 strikes. There is a breeze that's picking up since I got here to set up the camcorder and through the warm-ups by each team. It's gotten cloudy coming out of the east, heading toward the field, and the wind's been picking up, and it's blowing right into the hitter's face. And that's going to be over to first. He'll take the tag, and there's the tag. The runner will score, and it'll be 1-0 Windsor. And again, that's a tough one to give up because, I mean, it wasn't a walk. I called it a walk. I'm sorry. It was a single and then a wild pitch, and then an infield grounder to Garrett Brewer, who touched the bag, and that became a run. Now Robbins up with 2 down, and the base is cleared. And Equistapace will go back to the full windup. Nice pitch. I tell you, he's hitting spots very well today. He does throw hard. And that was right there for strike 1. 0-1 to count to the cleanup hitter in Windsor's order. Post 25 Windsor, and the green uniforms trimmed out in yellow. Very familiar looking squad. And these have always been good games between these two post American Legion teams. And that one just didn't break for him. He'll go down now to 2 balls, 1 strike. So Windsor able to get that 1-0 lead, which is always important when the road team coming in with that 0-2 record. And post 31 at 1-1. There's fastball strike. Like I said, the post 31 squad opened up their season in a non-league game against Granville, post 323, which was at the time 9-1. And post 31 won that game 10-5. And he'll strike him out, and that's going to be the inning, and it'll be at the end of half inning, 1-0 Windsor with the lead, and post 31 coming up to the plate. And Windsor will send number 6, Blake Wright, to the mound. They'll have Andrew Robbins behind the plate. That'll be your battery. Shane Tansey at first. Bo Taft is your second baseman. Greg Borkman's the shortstop, and Ryan Hart will be at third base. Good. As we move to the outfield, you'll have Ben Hughes in left field, Tyler Varney in center field, and Ben Fellows is the right fielder. And you're going to be looking at the batting order. I'll give you the top 4 for post 31. It's going to be Rob Dorian, Matt Sharon, Jeff McLaughlin, and Anthony LaPlaca up here. In the bottom half of the first, I've seen Windsor post 25 take a 1-0 lead. And Wright, first pitch, you can see he's a lefty, will sail up and out of the strike zone for a ball. Dorian, excellent leadoff hitter to have out there. Knows the strike zone, got good speed getting out of the box. Gives you choices when you get on the field, and if he gets on base, he gives you options, for hit and run, steals, bunt and steals, all that good stuff. And he makes contact, which is why he's hitting top of the order, number 1. He has a 1-1 count and a pitch on the way, and it's going to be high and outside for ball 2. 2-1 to count, and we're just underway in the bottom of the first. We're going to be here for 9, unless the mercy rule gets invoked or Mother Nature doesn't cooperate. I don't think either thing's going to happen. He'll swing through that fastball. And again, that lefty's got a Blake Wright, the pitch, number 6. He's got a motion on that sails away from right-handed hitter on his fastball. And boy, just got a piece of it. Just got a piece of it. With 2-2 the count. And that's what you want to do. And you've heard me say it too often, I'm sure. But, you know, got to protect the plate with those 2 strikes. And it's just what Robbie did right there. He won't offer this time at that high outside pitch. And he'll go to a full count to the first hitter, being faced by Blake Wright. Windsor was able to get a run in the top half of the first. He'll strike him out. He didn't do a lot of fooling around in that whole sequence of pitches. That was just a lot of fastballs. Now Matt Sharon coming up. He's a shortstop for Rutland. And Sharon stepping in seems to have brought his own fan club with a reaction from the sparse crowd here. And that time, no offering at that pitch, and it'll be ball 1. Post 31, I know we're tape delayed, but they'll be home July 5th against Chester for a 5:30 start time, and then July 6th against Fairhaven. That's a 5:30 start time. And it goes to 2 balls and no strikes. Then on July 13th, Bellows Falls here, home at 5:30. There's a strike. That was actually a real good pitch. So 1 down, nobody on, 2-1 to count. Matt Sharon at the plate, hitting number 2 in Tony Sorelli's order today. That's going to be on the ground down to second. He'll take his time. Bo Taft will make a wild throw to first, and a nice catch right there by Shane Tansey. So 2 up, 2 down. Now McLaughlin up, Jeff McLaughlin. And the plaque, if they can get around to another hitter here, he'll be in the on-deck circle, the catcher for Rutland post 31. McLaughlin, well, he's got a lot of power. Hits the gaps, double hitter. Good player. A real gritty player. You know, one of those blood and guts guys out there. Just what you think of for a third baseman? That's going to be up. Stabbed by the pitcher. Blake Wright will throw to first, and he had a 1-2-3 inning. Quista Pace back out there on the mound in the top of the second. He struck out 2 in that first inning to work. Did allow 1 hit. Came around on 1 run. And now the pitcher Blake Wright for Windsor will be up. He'll be followed by Ryan Hart and then Ben Hughes. Bo Taft, if they get to a 4 spot, will be there. And yet the third left-handed batter to come to the plate here for Windsor. And that's a big advantage. Left-handed hitting is something hard to find in big numbers in high school and Legion ball. Actually, any level until you get to the pros and semi-pros and all that stuff. So Quista Pace will start him off with a ball on the outside corner, a little bit high maybe, and again that breeze that is blowing straight in from center field right into the catcher's face. That's a pitcher's friend right now, and that's going to be a little grounder. And Quista Pace, he fields very well. He'll throw to first and have the ground out 1-3. So they'll retire the all-important leadoff batter here. Again, Channel 15 is located in Building 24 in the House Center. They truly do invite you. I don't just say it to fill up airtime. They'd love to have you come on down to the facility and take a tour and maybe sign up for a CIP course or just come on down and then take a look around. Building 24 right in the House Center. That's inside, and it'll be an easy one. That's a ball. If you don't have time to go down, you can go to the website. It has a ton of information on it besides the schedule. It tells you a lot of stuff about PEGTV. And that's www.pegtv.com. And that'll be a strike. That's a beautiful pitch. And the PEG stands for Public Education and Government. Public is Channel 15, Education is Channel 20, and Government is Channel 21. We have all the bases covered. Whereas the brochures that are scattered throughout the city say that explain PEGTV to you. It's your information station right here in your own community. 1-2 the count, and the pitch on the way will be up and high. And didn't really break for him, but you know, he's up 1-2, and that wasn't a bad place in the count to try to do something a little different. Like I said, he's already got 2 strikeouts. They came back in that first inning. And it'll be in the dirt and to the backstop, and that'll be a ball. So we'll have a full count now at 3 balls, 2 strikes. Remember, Windsor got a base hit from Shane Tansey, their leadoff hitter, the first batter of the ball game. And then a wild pitch sent him to second, a wild pitch sent him to third, and then a ground ball down the first baseline brought him home for the game's only run. Post 31 coming off a home loss to Hartford. Post 26, 8-5. And more on that in just a second. And that is going to be dropping foul. Holtman gave it a good run, just couldn't get there, and the ball will be falling. John will pick it up now and bring it back into play. No, and remember last season, Post 31 got off that just unbelievable, phenomenal start. I think they got to 13-0. It could have been 12, but I think they got to 13-0. You know, and like I said, in past broadcasts, we've seen in the past here, he will get him for his third strikeout on a nasty looking. It could be his knuckle curve. He's got a variety of pitches. 2 down now, and the base is clear for Ben Hughes coming up. The top 4 teams make the playoff. And we've seen that being number 1 isn't all it's cracked up to be. Rutland, a good example last year, not having a good tournament or a good playoff, or the year before there was a strike. But you basically want to win every game you play. You want to play to your best of your ability, but you want to make the top 4 slots. And if you don't go 13-0, which you're obviously not going to this season, they'll appeal the play and say he held up for a 1-1 count. Quistapace developing a nice rhythm here going into the second inning. But you know, I'd rather finish on a streak and a run at the end of the season than early on. And there was a lot of pressure when they got to that 12 or 13-0 mark, and they didn't play that well after they peaked out, and that went right into the postseason. 2 balls and 1 strikes, 1-0 Windsor, 2 down, nobody on, 3 strikeouts, and 1 hit allowed. That's the line so far on Zach Quistapace, number 17, the big guy on the mound with his back to you. Oh, beautiful pitch. Just absolutely everything was perfect on that pitch. 2-2 the count, and looking to get out this second inning with a 1-2-3 effort and keep the deficit at just 1 run. And he will do that. So he'll have 4 strikeouts, 2 per inning, and boy, he looks sharp right now. And 1-0 going to the bottom of the second, Windsor. And a guy swinging a big stick early in the season here for Post 31 will be Anthony LaPlaca. He has hit the wall in left field, just missed a home run in the first game of the season by about 18 inches. Then he hit the wall in center field, just missed a home run against Hartford, and he's been really banging the ball out there. He's a former MSJ high school player and a Hamilton College present-day player. Now he's spending the summer here back in the red, white, and blue of Post 31. And that's going to be out of play. Spanked the foul over the fence for strike 2. 0-2 to LaPlaca. Blake Wright remains your pitcher out there for Windsor. Shane Tanzi's at first. Bo Taft is at second. Greg Borkman is at short. And Ryan Hart is at third. And that's going to be put into play. And that's going to be a tough play. It's going to be chopped, slow, and yep, it's going to become a base runner as LaPlaca chugging down for his baseline will be there. And I'm in an unofficial book, but it was playable. I think I'm going to have to sneak over and give him an error. But again, it's unofficial. Now Parker, Chris Parker coming up. And no, they're not. Doesn't look like they're going to bring a courtesy runner. And a lot of times they do that for their catchers. But LaPlaca's staying out there on first base, and he is being held on. And there's the throw to first. That definitely was not Blake Wright's best move. He's a lefty. He's looking right over at the base runner. And usually I've never really met a lefty yet who doesn't have a decent move to first base. So Blake Wright. That'll be high. Nice catch by the catcher, Andrew Robbins. And that's the first base runner to reach for Post 31 as we're in the bottom of the second. 1-0 Windsor. That run coming back in the top half of the first. And that'll be high again. So right now you get to really kind of, you learn a lot about a pitcher when a runner gets on base. How you can breeze along, but now he's getting a little preoccupied with the runner at first, and he's pitching from the stretch for the first time today, which is a different feeling than going from the full windup. That's fouled off for a strike. There are pitchers who said tell you it doesn't matter to them, which, you know, full windup or the stretch. There's pitchers who will say I prefer the full windup, or the opposite, I prefer the stretch. And you can usually tell by the way the pitcher moves along through the game. And that's going to be, looks like it could be a double play ball. They'll step on the bag and got it. Beautiful job out there. That was just tailor-made for Bo Taft as that goes 4-3 on the double play because it's picked up by Taft. So 2 down now, and then that will bring up Zach Quistapace with the bases clear, and 2 down in the bottom of the second. And Blake Wright will have a strike call. Got a nice rotation on the ball. You can see the motion of it. And a lot of movement on it. A lot of up and down movement in the strike zone. See how that one moved up and away? That was a cross seamer, and that'll be high for a ball. 1-1 to count. Post 31 looking to climb back above 500, and Windsor looking for their first win of the year. So, like I said, we're supposed to go 9. Now it's just a good old-fashioned fastball past Equistapace. In yesterday's game against Hartford, Equistapace had an RBI single, drove one of the runs in for post 31. And, well, that's just a tough pitch to handle. That's the inning. He'll strike him out to end the inning. And again, with the lead of a double play, he faced only 3 batters. Bo Taft will lead things off here in the 3rd inning as we're getting near the third of the way of the ball game. It's a 9-inning game. It'll be Taft, and then Ben Fellows, and the top order, Shane Tansey. Equistapace with 1 hit allowed, 4 strikeouts at this point in the game. Has looked very sharp out there. He'll start him off with a ball, though. The base hit he did give up was to the very first batter of the ball game, and eventually came around, become the game's only run. So the big righty will kick fire, and there's a bunt attempt. That's going to stay in fair territory. McLaughlin, nope. I tell you, that's something you just don't see enough of. People nowadays are only bunting. Basically, it seems in a bunt situation, which means we're trying to sacrifice the run over. And now Ben Fellows up with the runner at first, but I don't know how many times people will come up and they've either been struggling against the pitcher or they've been struggling personally at the plate, and they're playing way off at first and third base corners, and it'd be so easy to lay down a bunt that I could almost beat it out. It's nice to see that laid down right there by Bo Taft, and he's going to be drawing a lot of attention now from Zach Equistapace's focus on the catcher right here. So he's going to be very aware of him. Very speedy base runner. Nice pitch. I tell you, he's been real consistent hitting that inside corner today, and that's going to make it an 0-1 count. So Windsor, see if they want to try to create some offense on the bases. That's going to be strike 2. Oh, it's not. Holy crap. That was a gift. It'll be a 1-1 count now. Equistapace will look in. LaPlaca with the target on the outside portion of the plate. Ties him up. Swinging through it and just tied him up like a pretzel. It'll be 1-2 now. Like I said, he struck out 2 in the first, 2 in the second. And here in the third, he gave up his second base hit of the game on that bunt single. Got him. Well, I just had him right there and had him go for it. Now it'll become his 5th strikeout, and he'll be back around to the top of the order. And Shane Tansey, a lefty, will be back up. Remember, his base hit, though, went to the opposite field. So Tansey at the plate with 1 down. Taft at first base. The catcher is LaPlaca. Equistapace is the pitcher. Brewer, Parker, Sharon, and McLaughlin. That's going to miss her wrapped around the plate and never nicked the corner. It'll be ball 1. And Jeff McLaughlin at third base. The outfield has McGuire, Dorian, and Holtman out there for Rutland Post 31. And plenty of time to come on down and see a game live. And that'll be held there for a long time. By LaPlaca, you won't get the call. It'll be 2 balls and no strikes. I'll introduce some more games to you here off the schedule as the game progresses. But again, plenty of time to come down to St. Peter's Field. Big swing and a miss. That was just high heat. That was nasty stuff from the big guy. I already mentioned we're tape delayed, but on July 5th and 6th, there are 5:30 start time games. One against Chester, one against Fairhaven. Oh, good night. Yep, beautiful. Watch that one right down the pipe for a 2-2 count. And then on the 13th of July, Bellows Falls is here for a 5:30 start time. Now bring a little sun protection, an umbrella or some sunscreen or something. And that's going to be a foul ball. Went to the breaking ball with a 2-2 count, and that'll be pulled foul. There's bleachers here, but if you want to bring a blanket to sit on or a lawn chair to plunk yourself down in. But take the game in live, and then you can go home and rewatch it on Channel 15. I always get out there and support public access television, whether it is 15, 20, or 21. And that'll be too far outside, and we will have a full count now. And Bo Taft, very surprisingly, has been glued to the first base bag. He hasn't had a very big lead at any point of his stay over there, and he hasn't shown any inclination that he's going to go. And it's going to be ball 4, and he'll have his first walk of the game. So Tansey will walk. That'll push Taft to second base. There is 1 out, and now Tyler Varney up, and he struck out back in the first inning. And you can see Anthony LaPlaca coming out, have a little chat with his pitcher, Zach Equistapace, and they're familiar with each other. They both played for MSJ and for Legion last year. And I think you could be saying, you know, it's really hot back there with all this gear on. Throw strikes. That was my only request to Zach Quispace in his warm-ups, was up here in the football press box and stuff. It's about a stifling 95 degrees. Just don't make it a 4-hour game for me. You know, you won't get the call on that. That'll be ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. 2 on, 1 down. Top of the third, Windsor in the green uniforms at the plate already with the 1-0 lead and trying to pump it up here. That'd be a real big swing on a breaking ball and fall off. 4 strike 1. Again, a lot of good games coming up that will be on Channel 15 that are too close to being actually played on tape delay for me to tell you. But for games on 15, Bennington will be coming up very shortly on Channel 15. There's a very easy throw to first base, and Tansy back well ahead of that. But a lot of people who supposedly know a lot more about it than me saying Bennington a team to beat this year again in Legion Ball. And actually anybody can say that. I said that last year. Nobody listened. But they'll be on Channel 15. See, they're coming in. Today's Sunday. They're playing on Thursday. So I don't know if this game would get on before that. So that's why I'm not telling you to come down and see it live, because I'm tape delayed. Well, that's going to be up the middle, base hit. And that's going to send the runner around, and he's going to be sent home. And the throw is going to be late and handled by LaPlaca, though, so it doesn't get by him. So the second run of the game is scored right there in that drive up the middle. As that was Bo Taft coming around to score. Tansy stays at second, and Varney has a single. So a walk and 2 singles, one a bunt single and one a line drive single. Has manufactured another run here. Now Borkman up. He grounded out to Brewer at first base, and his only plate appearance in a quiz to base. I don't believe. Yeah, it's going to be out of play. They'll watch it. Go over toward River Street, where if you ever drive by here during a Legion game or a high school game, it's pass at your own risk. I don't know how many cars I've seen get hit with foul balls over the 4 decades I've been watching baseball down here. Oh, and that's going to be caught by Brewer. Steps on the bag. That's the double play. And boy, did Garrett Brewer make that look casual. But 1 run comes in for Windsor. It's 2-0 Windsor going into the bottom half of the inning. And Sean McGuire will get things started off here for post 31 in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. They've been held in check pretty much here. They've had 1 base runner. That was LaPlaca. He reached on an air, and he was later part of a double play that ended any chance of a threat for post 31. And McGuire will, I don't know if he held up or not. I think the ball's going to be a strike regardless, but it'll be strike 1. And Blake right out there on the plate. Robbins behind the plate, and that's the battery. We'll go around the horn for you defensively in just a second. And a good eye right there, and McGuire will be a 1-1 count. Shane Tansy remains at first base, Bo Taft at second, Greg Borman at short, and Ryan Hart is at third base. That's the same pitch as the first pitch, and that's the same result, strike 2. Nasty stuff from the lefty right. What a play on words, huh? So McGuire trying to protect the plate with those 2 strikes on him. And now he'll ask for time, step out of the batter's box. So he's granted time. And the outfield has Ben Fellows in right field, Tyler Varney in center, and Ben Hughes is in left field. And that got away from him. That could have just been sweat on his hand or whatever, but that was an obvious ball. Now leaving it up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's going to be McGuire who's at the plate, then Brewer, and then Holtman 2 up, as post 31 will just get through their original order here in the 3rd inning. And boy, that's a piece of hitting right there. He fouled it off, but that was a tough ball to fall off. He got a piece of it with 2 strikes. Got fooled on the breaking ball and was able to keep the weight back long enough to get a piece of it and go to a 2-2 count still. And nice job right there. See what McGuire did there was, again, just he didn't want to be rung up looking at what could or could not be a strike 3. He want to leave it up to the umpire to make the decision, so he just fouled it off, and now he'll try to get pitch in his zone where he likes to hit the ball. So Blake Wright got him. Came back with a fastball, got him. Tell you, it's the rotation off that lefty, as he now has rung up 3 strikeouts, 1 per inning to this point. Now Brewer up for the first time. It's 2-0 in case you're just tuning in. It's Windsor with the lead. They're out in the field defensively. Blake Wright's on the mound. And Garrett Brewer for Rutland Post 31 at the plate. Great pitch. See that action he's getting on that up? I'm talking about how it's going up and down in the strike zone. He's got some good control today, Blake Wright does. And that'll sail up and away too far outside, and Garrett won't offer it. Brewer won't offer at it. It'll be a 1-1 count now. Bases are all clear. And that'll be outside. Good eye by Brewer. It'll go up in the count now. 2 balls and 1 strike. I'll tell you what, Blake Wright works at a pretty good clip. There's that inside fastball. He just jammed him with it. And he'll even things up at 2 balls and 2 strikes now. But he's catching, getting a sign, and firing. That's when you know a pitcher feels pretty confident in himself. Oh, teased him, held up, and it'll go to a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes. That's the same pitch that he's been getting a lot of his strikeouts on. That is popped up a mile. And it looks to be playable. It's just straight up in the air, and the center fielder will stay underneath there long enough. And Tyler Varney will make the catch for the second out. Now John Holtman up with 2 down, nobody on. And where Windsor's lineup is pretty well sprinkled throughout with lefties. This is the first lefty to come to the plate for Post 31. That was an accidental bunt attempt as Holtman, that pitch was way up in the air. And he bunted off the top of the bat, almost eye level with the catcher when he was standing up, and it'll be a strike. I like the idea of what Holtman's trying to do here, because this pitcher right now, Blake Wright, is in such a rhythm and in control of the game that he's just trying to get him to get off the mound. I know I didn't hit him. He's got to get a bigger butt. It went right around him and missed him. But by trying to get him off the mound, you're disrupting his rhythm and his focus, making him move around. That one hit him. And see, that's the first lefty that he's faced. And his pitches, if you remember us talking about, I've been breaking up and away to the right-handed hitter, which means to a lefty like Holtman, it's coming right up into his face and shoulder. And Holtman's got some serious speed down there at first base. Now Rob Dorian up. He struck out back in the first inning. We're in the third, bottom of the third. And Post 31 needing some offensive motion here. That'll be a ball. Nice eye, good eye by Dorian right there. Holtman stayed pretty conservative on his lead down at first base on that particular pitch. So from the stretch, they're going to go over to first base and the runner back safe. So Blake Wright only had a base runner on via an error. That was back in the second inning, and he got taken care of by a double play. Now he's being very aware of Holtman over there, and there's the throw down, and Holtman's going to beat it. Nice job by Holtman. Catcher, nice job of making the catch and getting rid of it without a lot of time spent holding the ball. That's the key, just to catch and release without waste of motion. Robbins, though, won't be able to get him, and that'll be a stolen base for Holtman. And Dorian, just for the heck of it, down at third base, they're playing even with the bag. They're not way off, like wouldn't be covering for a bunt. They're not weighing like they'd be covering for a bunt. They're even with the bag. First Post 31 player to make it to second base. Again, it's a 9-inning game scheduled today. We're in the bottom of the third. It's humid, but it's okay. It'll get a lot worse as the summer goes along. Unless you like this type of weather. That was a great pitch. That thing moved so many times, I thought I was going to have to adjust the camera. So Dorian, with 2 strikes on him, got to protect the plate. And a pitch. Good eye. That'll be making it a 2-2 count with Matt Sharon on deck. And Rob Dorian trying to do some damage here with the bat, the center fielder. Oh, he reached out and just poked it, and gonna be a foul ball. Yep. But what he did was perfect. Again, it was a pitch that might or might not have been a strike, but he didn't want to take a chance on being rung up. Looking, so he just fouled it off to be safe, protected the plate. And now he's back in business with a 2-2 count. And from the stretch, Blake Wright will wind it up and got him. Oh my goodness, he didn't call that. That's twice today I got fooled. Or the umpire did, one or the other. But he'll, I'll tell you what, That's a pretty nasty pitch to take with 2 strikes, but he'll go to a full count now, and Dorian will drive that to short. He'll scoop, fire, and just did get him. So the threat will go by, and hard hit ball by Dorian, but it'll be fielded by Borkman, and that's going to be the inning, and it'll stay 2-0 Windsor. Andrew Robbins will get things going here for Windsor as they go to the 4th inning, top of the 4th. They've got a 2-run lead. They had a run in the 1st and a run in the 3rd. And they're actually right in the middle of their order at the 4, 5, 6 spot with Robbins, Wright, and Blake. And Equistapace was looked very good out there today. Set to get to work. Starts him off just a little low. Good location, but low for the liking of the umpire. And it will be ball 1. 1-0 the count. And Zach, well, he'll be low again for a 2-ball, no strike count. He has struck out 5. He's only given up 1 walk and 3 hits. One of those hits was a bunt laid down by Bo Taft, which was a beauty. So Equistapace will be right there, one strike now, 2 balls and 1 strike. I'm just catching up on bookwork. Okay, we're good to go now. So 2 balls, 1 strike, and the big righty will kick fire and have a 3-1 count. And he has again allowed the base leadoff hitter to get on in the 1st inning. And in the 3rd, they both turned into runs. So he's trying to avoid letting that leadoff batter get on base here. And that's a great pitch. Gets it back to a full count at 3 balls, 2 strikes. And I'll go around the defense on the infield for you after this pitch, but I will tell you Anthony LaPlaca's behind the plate and Equistapace on the mound. Whoa, that's a very good high right there. So the leadoff batter will be on with the 2nd walk of the ball game here in the 4th. You got Garrett Brewer down there at first base defensively. Chris Parker's at 2nd. Matt Sharon is your shortstop, and Jeff McLaughlin is at 3rd base. Sean McGuire's in left field. Rob Dorian's in center, and John Holtman is your right fielder. And so from the stretch, Equistapace will be looking at another lefty, and this is Blake Wright, the pitcher. And I am surprised to this point that when Windsor gets runners on, they're not moving them up with the steals, but they have bunted them along, and see what Blake Wright wants to do here, and he'll look at that, come in for ball 1. Got a 1-1 count in the top of the 4th. Game moving right along at a nice clip. Neither pitcher wasting a lot of energy, unnecessary energy, that is, and they'll be outside for a ball. Like I said, Equistapace, only 2 walks, has the 5 strikeouts. And just want to remind you again that July 5th and 6th, Post 31 will be here. You'll see a little meeting taking place for 5:30 start times. And then on July 13th, another 5:30 start time at night. Bells Falls will be here. And then a doubleheader starting at noon on July 16th against Brattleboro, Post 5. So I'm not sure what Anthony said to him, but we'll see if he gets the results he wants. And that's a foul tip, caught strike. So where he said it, worked for a strike 2 count right there. 2-2 the count, and Equistapace trying to avoid a big jam up here in the 4th inning. He pitched against Windsor here last year in the 9-inning game, got the win. And he's worked it back. That was a good pitch. That's spoiled right there by Blake Wright, who just like the Rutland guys, when you get 2 strikes on you, you reached out and just deflected the ball off on a foul to stay alive here. Get the gap between first and second base. That's going to be out of play on a foul ball. It's 3 foul balls in a row now. But what he's doing by holding the runner at first base is being a left-handed hitter. If he can pull the ball, he's got a pretty massive gap between first and second base to get the ball through. And he played with the corner, couldn't get the call, and it'll be 3 balls, 2 strikes. Now that was probably the last spot in the lineup in that sequence of pitching that you'll see him have wiggle room to be fancy there, to get creative, whether change up or knuckle curve or curve ball, see if it's just a fastball, and that's all it is. And Dorian coming in. No, it's going to be called out by Matt Sharon with tremendous range. Sharon will go out and get that in short center field for the catch, and the runner will stay at first base. I'll tell you, Matt Sharon, just a good all-around athlete, whether he's playing basketball or football or on the diamond here in baseball. But he was the opening day pitcher here for Post 31 against Greenville. Did a very nice job. That'll be a foul ball down the third baseline. And a shortstop, he just really solidifies that infield. Parker at second and Sharon at short. That's two guys with a lot of motion, a lot of range, a lot of physical ability out there. And then you plug Dorian in center field, and that old saying of being strong up the middle is real good, especially with LaPlaca behind the plate. A lot of experience at that catcher's position. Don't forget, he's the only guy that's looking at the whole field at once, and that's why catcher's the general. He's the boss out there. And that'll miss for a ball. So we got a runner on first, one down, 1-1 to count. 2-0 to score Windsor. We're in the top of the fourth. And we're at St. Peter's Field for American Legion baseball. Good pitch. Came in on the hands, got the inside corner, and he'll be up 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's got 5 strikeouts in the game. He's had at least 1 in the first 3 innings. And like I said, when the big guy gets rolling, he can be dominating out there. Yep, and he played with the corner and didn't get the call, and that'll even it up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's one of those, as a pitcher, you would have loved to be able to get that one. Now we'll see if he goes fastball. He does, and he gets the job done. Got him looking at strike 3 on a fastball for his 6th strikeout of the game. And that's going back to 2 strikes. Ryan Hart took one right down the heart of the plate and didn't move that bat at all. And we'll have Ben Hughes up. So it's 2 strikeouts in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth to get us at 6 in the game. More importantly, there's 2 outs here. And they tried to bunt, and they'll throw back to first. And, boy, nice sweep tag by Brewer. Got him! Brewer with a nifty move. That will be the inning. They'll pick off that runner, LaPlaca to Brewer, and it's going to stay 2-0 Windsor. So we got a defensive change. Tom Ryder, number 10's gone into left field for Windsor. There's a strike to Matt Sharon as we get things going here in the bottom of the fourth. And then they took Ben Hughes and slid him over to right field. And those are changes for Windsor. And that's going to be up the middle. Base hit for Sharon. Nice job of driving the ball right back up the middle. And not only does it give you a base runner, but it gives you a base runner with speed out there. So again, Coach Sorelli will have some options here. They've had a base runner on an error, Rutland has. They've had a base runner on a hit by the pitch. He got hit by a pitch. That was Holtman, and that's their first, to me, their first legitimate single. So they'll be pitching from the stretch, and Sharon staying at first base with a rather aggressive lead, actually, trying to draw some attention. McLaughlin's at the plate. He grounded out to the pitcher. Blake Wright, his first time up. LaPlaca's on deck. And McLaughlin and Rutland looking to find some offense. There goes to throw to first, and Sharon back relatively easy. And we know that Blake Wright's got a better move than that. That's just his first. A lot of times they do that just to think about what they want to throw next, or just buying time. And that's got a chance, slicing away, and it's going to drop in for a base hit. We'll pick Sharon up going to third base, and he's going to go in standing up to third base. And they're going to throw the ball out of play. Sharon's going to come home with the first run of the game for Post 31. That'll make it 2-1. McLaughlin will go to third base. And all of a sudden, their offense has come to life here. So Sharon with a hit, and then McLaughlin with a base hit, and it's 2-1 now. And you've got a runner at third base with nobody down. LaPlaca reached on an error his first time up, and then it became part of a double play. So tying run at second base, and all of a sudden some chatter coming out of the dugout for Post 31. They've been very quiet the last 2 days, last 2 games, and all of a sudden a few base hits, and they got a pulse down there. So LaPlaca will fall off that first pitch for a strike, and that's going to be strike 2. And you can see that breaking action, how it started on the left side of the plate and ended up coming all the way across to the inside corner. 0-2 the count to the catcher for Post 31, Anthony LaPlaca. Got him, chased a cutter down and low, almost like a slider, and he will be struck out. And will leave a runner at third, and 1 down now. Chris Parker coming up. It was Parker that hit into the double play back in the second inning. But he's a good contact hitter, and that's contact there. And that's going to tie the game up at 2. as Parker will drive in McLaughlin, and Parker, who was not available for the Hartford game and was sorely missed, makes his presence felt today as he'll tie the game up at 2. And now Quistapace up. He's only been up once. He came to bat in the second inning and he struck out. So when he takes to the mound in the 5th, he'll at least have a clean slate, if not the lead. And the Quistapace is big and strong. He's taken the ball out of the ballpark during the high school season. There's a throw to first. So what I'm trying to say is they've got to be careful with a Quistapace. Even though they had to strike out in the first time around, he's the kind of guy that can bring the ball out of the yard. So it took Rutland the second time through, and there's a drive. Yep. There's a drive. There's a drive. And it's going to end at the base of the wall. You can see the outfielder just picking it up. Quistapace will go into second base with a blast to center field. There's the runner going around the picture and coming in to give Rutland the lead. And Quistapace, that was not that far away. He couldn't have hit it probably well. He could have hit it to a deeper part of the park, but not by much. So he'll be at second base with Rutland now taking a 3-2 lead here. All 3 runs coming in the 4th inning, as they have gotten their second look through the order now at Blake Wright. And they, like I started to say, they might have figured him out a little bit now. And we're going to have Sean McGuire at the plate. But first of all, we're going to have a meeting out in the pitcher's mound for Windsor. Now, I can't see him taking Blake Wright out at this point. He's been very strong up until this inning. Maybe he's talking about what they're calling for pitches or what he wants to throw, and maybe they want to try something a little different here and go back to that fastball up and away. He's in the thick right-handed portion. He's got McGuire and Brewer, both right-handers, and then Holtman is still 3 hitters away, but he is a lefty, so could be just two telling him, you know, they hit the ball, you throw them in the strike zone, don't get rattled, go to work. So Rutland striking for 3 runs at this point in the bottom of the 4th, take a 3-2 lead over Windsor, and that just missed, being another base hit. But I'll tell you what, they seem to have zoned in on his breaking stuff right now. And Post 31 waited to the 9th inning against Hartford to come to life at the plate. Fell just a little bit short, 8-5, and ended up being a final there. Now float outside for a ball. 1-1 to count. And Sean McGuire at the plate. Runner at second base is Quistapace. He delivered the big double to give Rutland the lead. And he's done a good job on the mound today pitching. Great pitch. Great pitch. Just went straight fastball, but it was the location down by the knee and make it 1 ball, 2 strikes. Scheduled for 9, and it could be a nail biter before this one's over. And Rutland coming in with a 1-1 record overall. They defeated Granville 10-5, and then lost to Hartford here at St. Peter's Field 8-5. So they're trying to get their first league win and also get above the 500 mark. And that's going to be right back to the pitcher. He'll throw to third, and that's a tag play. They got him. Yep, that's not a force out, so they had to get the tag down to throw as high, but they cut down the lead runner, and that becomes the second out. So that goes 1-2-5 on the force out. And McGuire, well, I'm going to give him a fielder's choice. Now Garrett Brewer up. He flied out to center field where Varney made the catch. Remember, it wasn't very deep, but it was extremely high fly ball back in the 3rd inning. And Brewer, just like a Quistapace, big and strong, gets a piece of the ball. He can send it out onto St. Joseph's Avenue. Remember last year during a Legion baseball game, he hit it out to center field into the bleachers. That'll be a ball. So it's been a very productive 4th inning for American Legion Post 31. There goes the runner. The throw down to second and safe. That was just a good slide, and I didn't get you the change here. That's Chad Ryan, 27. He came in for a courtesy runner, and I missed that for you. I apologize. Well, you know, I got to tell you the truth, because I'm so far out here. He might have actually been hitting in place of McGuire. So I'm not sure how Ryan arrived, but he just stole second base. And I'll have to check the defensive alignment when he comes back out here in the top of the 5th. So he puts himself in scoring position, and Chad Ryan's got tremendous speed. He can easily come around and score on a base hit. And that's inside. You see Brewer kind of skip back, and it'll be a 3-ball, 1-strike count. And they're being a little bit careful with the big guy right now. And on deck is John Holtman. And Holtman got on base, remember. He got hit by a pitch in his only plate appearance. And that's going to be foul. Chops it down the third baseline. Foul. That was the slider, too, because they're getting on top of the slider. That's why there's a lot of ground balls right now. But Blake Wright cruised through the first 3 innings. Got into a little bit of problem. He gave up a leadoff single. And then a single was by Sharon, and a single with it toppled with an error by McLaughlin, and then a double by Quistapace, and it's 3-2 Rutland. Great pitch, rings him up, caught him looking, but that'll be the, well, I got 3 outs, and Windsor's leaving the field also. Everybody's looking, and yeah, I had 3 outs, and that's what they've got. So Rutland will take the lead, 3-2, going into the top of the 5th from St. Peter's Field on Channel 15. Now, I don't know if Quistapace is on a pitch count today. I mean, I'm sure they're counting his pitches, but I don't know if he has a number that when he reaches it, they'll take him out of the game. But he's been very efficient. To this point, he's got 6 strikeouts. He's allowed 3 hits and walked 2. We're in the top of the 5th, and he is looking at Ben Hughes, Bo Taft, and then Ben Fellows. But we'll have to wait and see. Remember, they made some changes out there. And right now, he's got the 3-2 lead. He helped himself out with that. 3rd run being driven in by Zach Quistapace himself. And he's got an 0-2 count right now on the leadoff hitter. Just played with him, just overpowered him and struck him out for his 7th strikeout. And again, he looks very comfortable out there. He seems to be in control of a lot of different pitches right now. And Bo Taft, who had a bunt single back in the 3rd and eventually scored the 2nd run for Windsor at the plate. And they have McLaughlin in now on the grass at 3rd base. And that one's just a little bit off the corner, and it'll be ball 1. And Chad Ryan has gone in defensively to play left field, so I do believe that he was at bat when I told you it was McGuire. I think they've changed them up here. There's a strike. 1-1 to count. The rest of that outfield stays the same with Rob Dorian in center field. John Holtman is out there in right field. Garrett Brewer's at first base. Chris Parker down at 2nd. Matt Sharon's at short, and McLaughlin at 3rd. And LaPlaca behind the plate will frame the pitch. And boy, both LaPlaca and Quistapace wondering where that one was. It's called a ball. It's 2 balls, 1 strike. So Bo Taft trying to get on base for the 2nd time today for Windsor. And again, that Quistapace, the long look in. 2 borderline pitches, didn't get the break on either one of them. Goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. And now he's going to take a little walk, use the rosin bag. And this is mostly just this isn't a physical thing. This is just trying to get refocused and throw the pitch here. And that one right down the pipe. Good old-fashioned fastball makes it a 3-2 count. Got 7 strikeouts. We're in the 5th. 1 down, nobody on. Windsor had a 2-0 lead to the last inning when Post 31 broke through for 3 runs. And got him looking. Good night. Adios. Hasta la vista. See you later as he'll strike him out. That's now going back to the bottom of the top of the 4th. That's 3 strikeouts in a row for Quistapace. 8 for the game. And Ben Fellows up, the number 9 hitter in the order, and he struck out in the 3rd. That was his only plate appearance against Zach Quistapace. And like I said, he has looked very solid out there on the mound today. That first inning run that he gave up was on a leadoff single, and then 2 wild pitches put the runner at 3rd base, and he scored on a ground ball out to Brewer at 1st. Then from that point on, he's kind of got his whole act together. So in the top of the 5th, Windsor looking to get a 2-out rally going here. And Quistapace looking for his 4th strikeout in a row. Actually, just looking for the 3rd out and preserve that 3-2 lead. Now, when you see the big guy stop and stretch like that, now you wonder if he pulled or yanked or tweaked something. 3 balls, no strikes. They show bunt and couldn't get the call there, and it'll be ball 4. So 4 straight balls, and Fellows will be at first base with the 3rd walk of the game issued, and we're in the 5th. And like I said, I'm not sure if they have a number of pitches targeted where he would come out of the ball game. Like I said, I would guesstimate right now he's only around 60 to 62 pitches. He hasn't. We're only in the 5th. He hasn't thrown a lot of wasted pitches. I know at the Rutland County Royals level. They throw 90 pitches. There goes the runner, and that ball's going to be to Dorian, and Robbie will float underneath it in center field and make the catch for the third out, and Rutland will hold that 3-2 lead over Windsor as we go to the bottom of the fifth on Channel 15 Sports. You can see the only left-handed hitter in the lineup for Post 31 at this point. John Holtman coming up now. His only at bat, he got hit. He was on base and stole second base, and he'll be in the dirt for a ball. That was a good inning of pitching by Quispace in the top half of the fifth. And like I said, we'll wait and see if he comes out for the sixth. At one point in that inning, he stopped and stretched. Reached down and touched his toes. That's never a good sign in the middle of a ball game when it's almost 87 degrees out right now, and you think he'd be pretty loose, so you gotta wonder if he tweaks something. And Holtman with the good eye, watch that be ball 3. They'll be around to the top of the order after John Holtman to Rob Dorian and then Matt Sharon. Blake Wright still on the mound, and he just issued a walk. So that'll put the leadoff batter, the very speedy leadoff hitter, John Holtman, on at first base. Like I said, he's got 1 stolen base today. Now Dorian up. He has struck out and grounded out to the shortstop, Greg Borkman. Windsor looking for their first win of the year. They're coming at 0-2. And they're dressed in the green uniforms. They're out there in the field defensively, and that's going to be delivered to the plate. And that looks to be playable. Barney will go back, and I could be wrong. No, it's going to drop between the two fielders. And you can see Holtman just putting on the afterburners, going into third. He'll hold up and go to third base standing up. And Dorian will be at second base. So nobody down, and runners at second and third. And Matt Sharon up, who had a single and scored a run back in the 4th inning. So Blake Wright for the 2nd inning in a row now, working in and out of jams. And that's going to be foul. I'll go over and take a look at it, but that'll be a foul ball. Yep. So Sharon will foul that one off. He'll slice it down the first baseline, and he'll look down and coach Jeff Brewer at third base. Get the sign. George Bennett is the first base coach. And, of course, Tony Sorelli's the head coach. He's in the dugout this year. Got a little different arrangement. He usually used to coach third base. And the pitch on the way won't bend back in time, and it'll be a ball. 1-1 to count. 3-2 the score. Rutland with the lead. We're in the bottom of the 5th. They have runners at 2nd and 3rd. Post 31 does. And nobody down. And Matt Sharon will drive it up the middle. That'll get a run in, and he might actually beat this thing out. He will. That'll be an error. Well, unofficially an error. They might give him an infield base hit, but going to go and drive in a run. And what happened there is, I'll tip it down to show you, for Matt Sharon, as they were bobbling around the ball, Windsor was on just getting the ball back to the pitcher, took the extra base. Now bring up Jeff McLaughlin. He singled in a run, and now Windsor's going to have another meeting on the mound. This will be the 2nd time during the ball game that Windsor's gotten together in the middle of an inning. And now you got to wonder about pitch count or the fatigue and the heat coming into play on Blake Wright, the pitcher for Windsor. They're down 4-2, and they don't want to have a big inning here. Post 31 with nobody down, runners at 2nd and 3rd does have the making of what could be a damaging inning here. And you can see how smart Sharon was, being aware of what's going on in the field when they started playing hot potato with the ball. He just went ahead and took second base. And they are going to leave Blake Wright in. So McLaughlin all set now. He'll get in there and got the table set. Runners at 2nd and 3rd, nobody down. Well, that's a shot, and that's going to be picked up, bobbled around, and have one play to first, and he's going to be safe at first. And all of a sudden, Rutland able to find contact on a consistent basis off from Blake Wright, and that solid fielding by Windsor through the first 4 innings kind of going away here. And the Plaka up, he has reached on an error and struck out, and that makes it 5-2 Rutland now. And they're going to go with Blake Wright. Probably, if he can't get the out here, that'll be his afternoon's work will be done. But at 5-2 and runners at the corners, I would expect to see McLaughlin taking off for second base here on either this pitch or the next. And they got him in a pickle. He just does the right thing too. He just takes off, and he'll be safe, and the runner will Cheryl slide back, and they'll throw it out of play, and Sharon's going to come in to score on that errant throw. There's the 6th run, and there goes McLaughlin down to third base, and they're going to award him home base because he was already in motion to second, so he'll get third and then the next base, and that's what good aggressive base running does, and speed will do, and that'll make it 7-2, and now they're going to ask the umpire. Here comes the conversation with the Windsor head coach as to why he was allowed to come home, McLaughlin was. But that was a designed pickle play because they wanted to get just what happened right there. They wanted to get it caught up between first and second and see if Windsor kind of forgot about the runner at third, and Sharon broke about a quarter of the way down the line, and then they went after him, and on the throw to third base, the ball went down the line and out of play. So Sharon scores, McLaughlin scores. That's 4 runs this inning to go to 3 in the 4th, and it's 7-2 Rutland, and LaPlaca back at the plate will look at the ball. And to my surprise, Blake Wright's still on the mound. Now, they got rained out, Windsor did, down in Bells Falls yesterday. They didn't play a game. I would imagine with that rain out, there must be plenty of arms with innings left in them to throw here. But Rutland, after being down 2-0, has scored 7 consecutive runs. And that'll be high. And all of a sudden, everything going wrong for Windsor here. Then all that pitching having a little problem. They're finding contact off them. They're getting base hits. And then the defense kind of having a problem making the play. Chris Parker up. He singled and scored and drove in a run his last time up. And no, too far outside, it'll be a ball. And the big number, too, is there's still nobody down here in the 5th. Still no outs for Rutland. Runner at first is LaPlaca. Now, I'm not saying he won't steal, but I'd be very surprised if they sent Anthony on a steal. I'm surprised, too, that they didn't bring in the courtesy runner for him. He's caught all 3 games this year. This is a very hot and humid weekend, back-to-back 9-inning games. And he's got to go down and get all that gear back on, but he's out there on first base. It's really irrelevant if I'm surprised by anything. I'm just filling up airtime. As they get set, and we will have Parker. He'll pull it to third base. Gobbled up, 1 play, long throw to first, and got it. Nice job at first base by Shane Tansey to dig that one up and hold on to it. So there's the first out of the 5th inning. LaPlaca does go to second base, and now Zach Aquistapace up. He doubled and drove in a run his last time up. He's 1 for 2 today, as he had struck out his first time up, but doing a good job all around today on the mound and with the bat. So LaPlaca with a very cautious lead down at second base. And you see how much longer now between pitches. And that's going to be foul. Remember in the first 3 innings when Blake Wright would catch and fire and not spend any time down between pitches, that I noted that. Now you notice being a little more deliberate, taking longer between pitches. He'll look at LaPlaca at second base. He'll deliver the ball home, and it'll be wide for a ball. And it'll make it a 2-ball, 1-strike count. And the outfield, playing about right where they did the first time Aquistapace was up. We hit the double. And right now, fatigue or frustration is set in on Blake Wright, one or the other or both. And he's sailing everything high right now. It goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. And again, that long delay in, he either couldn't agree with a sign with the catcher, or he just wasn't sure what he wanted to throw at all, period, and just bought a little time there when the batter had asked for time and stepped out. And boy, I tell you what, Aquistapace right on that pitch for a foul. Now make it a 3-2 count. We have a full count with 1 down. And post 31 coming from a 2-0 deficit to take a 7-2 lead here in the 5th inning. They captured the lead at 3-2 in the 4th, and just been building on it here in the 5th. And that seems to be playable. He'll be located by Tansey in foul territory. He'll make the catch for the 2nd out. That's a big get right there. That could make it possible for Wright to get through this inning. Okay, now Chad Ryan up. He reached on a fielder's choice and stole the base in the 4th, and that was his only at-bat. He came in to replace McGuire. And LaPlaca still down at second base, but with 2 down now. Yeah, and he'll lay off from that, Ryan. Well, that'll be ball 1. He's the 8th batter to come to the plate here in the 5th inning. We're in the bottom of the 5th, scheduled for 9, and that's a swing and a miss, and that'll be strike 1. Now leaving it all out at 1 ball, 1 strike. It's been an inning that's featured 4 runs by post 31. And that'll be missed down and inside, and then we go to 2 balls and 1 strike. Again, Rutland coming in with a 1-1 record, 0-1 in league play, 1-1 overall. And they made the play back at LaPlace. And again, I don't really think that was, he was only 4 or 5 steps off the bag, but I think he's just buying time here to get focused on what he wants to do with the batter. And he will hold up. That pitch came in high, and he'll go to a 3-1 count. He's had 3 balls on a lot of hitters here this inning. And that slight breeze has stayed very consistent through the game from the center field bleachers right into the batter's catcher's face. That'll be fouled back for full count now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Again, you can watch this on PEGTV, and to inquire, it's a schedule. You can either watch the bulletin board with the schedule, go to Sam's Good News, get the schedule, or go to the website. And this could be the 3rd out, and everybody chasing down. Tansey will make the catch. That'll be the inning. They'll strand just 1, but a good inning offensively for post 31. They're up 7-2 going to the 6th. First pitch of the 6th inning is going to be driven out there to left field. Dorian on the beat will make the catch. There's the speed of Robbie Dorian out in center field. Took that at least a single, possibly a double if he doesn't make the catch away, and that's going to be the first out here of the 6th inning. And that was tagged out there by Tyler Varney. And again, Dorian just adds a whole different dimension to their defense. Now remember, yesterday he started at second base, and he's much more solid for him out in center field, and he helps the team more out in center field, and shows you right there with a nice catch. Quispace and post 31 squad up 7-2 over Windsor in the top of the 6th. Going to go 9 today. It took them a while to find their offense against Blake Wright, but in the last 2 innings, the 4th and the 5th, the Rutland Bats able to generate 7 runs. Borkman up. He hit into a double play his last time up, and that's going to be called a ball. Quispace has been very efficient today. I'm not sure what his pitch count exactly is. I lost him at 72 pitches, but he's going into the 6th with nobody on base and 1 down. Robbins is on deck, and that will be called a strike on that outside corner. He's mixed it up well, but I've seen a lot more fastballs today than in the last 2 games he's pitched, and he's been up in the count quite often. He's got a 2-2 count right now. A lot of lefties in this lineup, and he's been able to handle that with no problem. And he's got a chance. You can see Chad Ryan going to run out of room. Actually, he's right over by the concession stands, but Chad Ryan from Mill River, a lot of speed, just couldn't quite catch up to that one. It's going to be a long strike on a foul ball. Quispace has had at least 1 strikeout every inning. He had 2 in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd for 5. He had 1 in the 4th, and then 2 in the 5th. He's up to 8 strikeouts now. And he's really improved on that walk to strikeout ratio. He's only had the 2 walks so far in the game. That one came a little shy on a breaking ball, and he's done a good job of staying away from that right there. A full count, that is, at 3 balls, 2 strikes. Defensively for Rutland, you got Garrett Brewer still down there at first base. Chris Parker's at second. Matt Sharon's your shortstop. Jeff McLaughlin's down at third. Behind the dish, Anthony LaPlaca. We've already mentioned the Quispace is on the mound. You have Ryan, Dorian, and Holtman in the outfield. Post 31 with that 1-1 record. And that's going to be popped up, and it's going to be Quispace, and he will call and make the catch. No. There was some confusion on that play, as it was straight up almost over the catcher's head, and then Quispace must have called the Placa off. But coming in after the ball, I would have thought the catcher would have had a better view on it, but it'll just go and stay at 3 balls, 2 strikes. Now it's American Windsor take advantage of the second chance they're given right here. And Borkman, his first time up, I did mention the double play, but his first time up, he grounded out to first base where Brewer took it unassisted, stepped on the bag. So a 3-2 count, and a Quispace into the full windup, and that'll become a walk. So that was a costly misplayed foul ball, and puts a runner on first base with One down. Now Robbins, the catcher, up. He struck out in the first and then walked in the fourth, but the significance of the walk was he got picked off first base as LaPlaca threw down to Brewer, who had that tag, sweep tag, and made the nice put out on the play. And that's just a fastball, good old-fashioned fastball for a strike. So in the sixth, Windsor trying to get something going here offensively. They're down 7-2, and they're 0-2 record here early in Legion season. And we've seen teams start off slow. Take Chester last year, especially Chester post 67, but they finished real strong and got all the way through the tournament to the final. There's a throw down on the steal, and it's going to sail wide, and Windsor trying to get something started with their speed, and they'll have a stolen base as Borkman will go down to second base, put himself in scoring position with just one out, and Quistapes now in the sixth will go to the stretch. And just nice job. Overpowered him. Hard fastball outside corner, got him to chase. There's another strikeout for the big guy. And that'll be the second out of the inning. Now Blake Wright, the pitcher, up. He grounded out to Quistapes in the second and then popped out to Matt Sharon. Remember Sharon with that nice job of tracking the ball down into short center field to make the catch for the out. And there's a strike called. Very conservative lead off from the bag at second by Borkman. Quistapes doing what you should do, though. He's got two down, just worrying about the batter at the plate right now. And he tried to get that outside corner, and it was a little bit low this time, now leaving everything up at 1 ball, 1 strike. That PEGTV website, again, is www.pegtv.com. If you don't have access to internet, you can just jump on the phone and call them at 747-0151. You'll find the schedule information there and also in Sam's Good News. And that's a great pitch. I actually had him fooled as he leaned back, and I don't think he was looking breaking ball right there. So Blake Wright now, down 1-2 in the count. This is the pitcher's choice. He's got the count his way. He can get clever here if he wants to throw something crafty. And he just went to the heater and blew it by him, and that will be the inning. And it'll stay 7-2 Rutland over Windsor in Legion baseball action. Big rip and a foul ball straight back for strike one. As Rutland with that 7-2 lead going in the bottom of the sixth. That's Garrett Brewer, the first baseman out there. He's 0 for 2 today. He flied out to center field and struck out in the fourth, which was his last time up. On deck is John Holtman. Brewer will lay off that high fastball. And it is Blake Wright back out there here in the bottom of the sixth. His pitch counts climbed tremendously in the last 2 innings as Rutland post 31 been able to get a second look through the order at him, figure out his delivery, his release point, his rotation on that lefty throw of his, and get some good base hits. That's popped straight up. Varney in center field will call for it and make the catch for the first out as they get that all-important leadoff batter out. You know, coming to the plate, Holtman's done a good job in the first 3 games of the season for post 31. He represents right now the only left-handed hitter in the lineup. But he's been hit by a pitch, stole the base, got stranded at second, back in the third. He walked and scored in the fifth. But he gives you options like that. You see him show bunt, pull the bat back. That's ball 1. He's a good slapper. He can bunt, and if he's got it, he can drive the ball into the gaps. But he's got a lot of speed out there. When he gets on base, he puts a lot of pressure on the defense. That's going to be a strike at the knees. Blake Wright started out like a house on fire. The first 3 innings, Rutland just climbed through their order, and that's got a chance, and it's going to be over the shortstop's head, and that'll put Holtman on at first base with 1 down. And again, you see that left-handed inside-outside swing of his. He got it up and over the shortstop for a base hit. Now Dorian up. He had a double his last time up, drove in a couple runs, and eventually scored himself. And we'll see how long it is before Coach Sorelli will send Holtman, because I guarantee you at some point in his count he's going to be sending him to second base. They generate a lot of their offense by being aggressive on the bases. And that's a strike. Holtman, of course, is being held on by Shane Tansey down there at first base defensively by Windsor. Posted 25 out in the field in the green uniforms. Held that 2-0 lead for quite a while. And boy, it's a whole different looking post 31 squad right now. They're playing a lot more upbeat since they've been able to get on top of Windsor. Not only that, you can hear chatter from the dugout. Throw down, and he will be back safe. Nice throw down by the catcher. That's Andrew Robbins in his 3rd year of Legion ball. put it right where you wanted it, right down where the tag would be. That saves that extra split second of having to catch up high and deliver the tag down low, and that gives that base runner that much time. There's the move to first, and that's his casual move. We've seen earlier in the ball game, he's got a nice move Blake Wright does to first base. He's got that advantage of being left-handed, looking right over at the base runner. And that's going to be spanked foul for a strike. Of course, I still think the best move I've seen through the years at Legion Ball was from Steve Shortle. I did a Fairhaven Rutland game, Shortle's first year Legion Ball. He picked 3 base runners off in 1 inning. It was the most phenomenal thing I've ever seen as far as picking runners off. It ended up being the deciding factor in the ball game. And that'll be just a tad outside and make it a 2-2 count. This is the top of the order. Dorian up, and then Matt Sharon on deck. And I think Sharon's been a real solid contributor here. I'm glad he came out and joined Legion Ball this year. From Mill River, he graduated. Of course, remember him from football season. That was his big mark. Had a nice high school baseball season this year for Mill River. The whole squad did, but he's a good addition to the team this year. And that's going to be a throw to first. And Holtman will just go walking back to the bag. Like, I think at this point in the ball game, yeah, you got to keep the runner close, but I think a lot of these throw overs or stepping out is just a matter of letting them, the pitcher I'm talking about, Blake Wright, kind of take a break to find himself. That'll be ball 4, and that'll put the runners at first and second now with just the 1 down. Now, Matt Sharon's been a busy guy today. He's made contact all 3 times up. He scored 2 runs. He's had a base hit, and he reached on an error his last time up. But he's a guy that will usually get that bat on the ball. And that wrapped around the plate. Didn't touch the corners, and that's going to be called a ball. It's not where that guy behind the plate catches it. It's where it crosses the batter's strike zone. And that's going to be to the shortstop. Borkman will go to second for 1. They'll turn. He'll have a little problem on the exchange from the glove to the hand, and that will allow Sharon, who's got good speed anyways, to get down to first base. But they do get the 1 out at second. Holtman will go to third, and Matt Sharon will be at first base. Now bring up McLaughlin. McLaughlin himself today has scored 2 runs. He's got a single. He actually drove in a run also, and then he reached on an error his last time up. It was Borkman at short that made the error that allowed McLaughlin to get that run. Now, I had to wait and see if that was foul. I wasn't sure. I didn't really hear the ting of the metal bat, but it was called a foul ball. And the significance of that is the runner will have to go back to second base. If he swings and misses it, and it's just a pass ball, then Sharon could stay at second. There are 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th. 7-2 Rutland Post 31 with the lead, looking to get back above 500. They're at 1-1 right now, 0-1 in league play. And that is the significance also of this game. So it would be a league win. They started the year off with a 10-5 win over Granville, Post 323. Strange game. They got all 10 runs in the first inning and then kind of really got boring on offense. And they'll just concede. Nope, they won't concede. That's a lot close. That's a very casual throw, and Sharon's gunned down at second base. That'll be the inning, and it will be 7-2 Rutland as we go into the 7th, heading into for 9 today. And I think everything's going to cooperate, Mother Nature, and I don't see the mercy rule coming into effect here. So Zach Aquistapace, his afternoon ends after 6 innings. He can only win the ball game. He's going to be replaced by Mike Sorelli, number 12 out there on the mound. Aquistapace leaves with 10 strikeouts, just 3 walks. Did an excellent job, an outstanding job on the mound today. Maybe he's starting to get feeling better on that injury he suffered last football season, but he looked pretty dominating today. Sorelli, we have seen him pitch this year in the Granville game, pitched very well. And like I said, I believe he's a sophomore going into his junior year. This coming year, I believe he's going to be a junior. And he'll be fouled off. We'll have a 1-1 count. Now I'm looking around, and it looks like the same outfield with Rob Dorian in center, and Chad Ryan in left, and John Holtman in right field. That stays the same. Aquistapace is gone, and in to play first base from the pitching position, and there's a swinging strike. Now you notice the delivery of Sorelli, number 12. It's kind of funky. He's got a little different. It's tough to pick up his release point. And then you got to remember what Aquistapace's physical size and his release point was. You got used to a whole new thing here. A big hop for Sharon and a throw to first. He'll have him. So they'll have the leadoff batter out here in the 7th inning as that goes 6-3. And they're going to bring in Kyle Rondos. So Rondos will get his first at-bat. He's replacing Ben Hughes. Hughes had struck out twice. He was 2 of the 10 strikeouts that Equistapace had. And boy, I tell you what, Sorelli just tied him up on an inside pitch. That was nasty. So Equistapace is now at first defensively. McLaughlin is at third. Sharon, we've already mentioned, still at short. And Chris Parker is still at second base. And LaPlaca still behind the plate. And that's a nice stop by Anthony. Ball, obviously, out of the strike zone. As they'll settle in, and that's going to be swung through. Fastball, overpowered him with it. And Sorelli, again, throws you a lot of different release points, a lot of different looks, changes his speeds up, makes his fastball look even better and faster. But I'll tell you what, he had set the table for that pitch and just missed it, didn't get the call. He'll go to 2-2 the count. And if you start looking at this, there's a great pitch. Struck him out for the second out of the inning. So in the 7th inning, they're 2 down now for Windsor. And Bo Taft coming up. He's had a bunt single, scored a run, and struck out. I started to say before, we've seen Matt Sharon, Chad Ryan pitch, Equistapace, Palmacala, Turner, Sorelli. You know, that's what it's all about, arms and defense. And if they can develop this pitching staff and have it gel, you know, at the end of the season. And the defense they've played today, it's a whole different looking defense than what we saw yesterday. They played very well defensively today. And Sorelli again sneaks it by him for an 0-2 count. So Mike Sorelli trying to make quick work here of Windsor in the 7th, has 2 outs, nobody on, and 2 strikes. He's looking for a 1-2-3 first inning he's pitched this afternoon. Oh, foul ball, almost caught by Anthony LaPlaca. So they'll just get back to work, set it up, and see where LaPlaca wants the ball. Right there, strike 3, struck out 2, retires the side in order, and it stays 7-2 Rutland going into the bottom of the 7th. Well, Blake Wright hanging right in there. He's going to start off the bottom of the 7th, facing Jeff McLaughlin. Remember, he's at the plate when he threw the runner out trying to steal. And that is a shot. That's going to be a shot. You see it rolling right there. We'll pick Jeff up. McLaughlin coming around into second base with a stand-up double to get things going first. Ball hitting. As Blake Wright put one right down the pipe, and McLaughlin will cream it into center field for his second base hit today. Now LaPlaca up. He's reached on there, struck out, and walked. So Anthony LaPlaca with a runner at second base, and what they do, they came out to check. I believe the ball rolled under the wall, which is a ground rule double, and I think McLaughlin, probably that's how he would have got out of it anyways, but the umpire had to come out and take a look at it. And we are good to go now, so Blake Wright will go to the stretch to pitch to LaPlaca. Now in the first 2 home games of the season, LaPlaca has blasted the ball and hit the wall on left and the wall in center field. He's got a chance to add to that Rutland lead right now with a runner at second base, nobody down. And again, you see Blake Wright being much more deliberate between his pitches. We'll ask him, LaPlaca will ask for time to step out of the box, and we're set apparently to go here, and it'll be strike 1. Fastball inside corner, and it'll be 0-1 the count. On deck is Chris Parker, then Equistapace. And the pitch on the way just broke down and out and fell up short of the strike zone. It'll make it an even count now, 1 ball, 1 strike. And again, the clouds have moved in. This is a fielder's sky right now, a very muted sun. And that breeze staying right where it was. Started the ball game. Oh, LaPlaca got a piece of that one. And that's going to roll to the gap. That's going to be an RBI for Anthony LaPlaca. You can see McLaughlin coming in to score, and I'll pick Anthony up coming in to second base, and he's going to have a double. That's his 3rd double of the season. Drives in the 8th run of the game. And he got all of that and pulls it out in the gap, and now Chris Parker up. So Parker with a chance with an 8-2 game to drive LaPlaca in. We're in the bottom of the 7th, supposed to go 9. And Windsor at 0-2 and Rutland at 1-1. And I don't believe you. That's going to be out of play. Just a foul ball for Mr. Parker when we're all said and done there, and we'll get set and they get a new ball. And Like I said, in the Hartford game, Parker wasn't here. And that's going to be fair ball. So Parker got around, pulled it, and he's going to go and stretch it into a double. Yep. That's what speed does. You know the key to it was? He looked at the play and just kept on going. He never slowed down, never hesitated for a split second, went right into second base. So Laplaca will go to third base, Parker will go to second, and that'll bring up, well, I should be Zach. And it looks like Equistapes at the plate. And Blake Wright, with the coach, coming to the mound with him, going to take the ball, and that'll be his afternoon here. He made it 7+ innings. He'll leave trailing 8-2. This will be Kyle Rondos coming in, new pitcher, right-handed guy. He's got a lot of size to him. He'll look in, and Zach Equistapes will be at the plate with runners at second and third. Nobody down. One run in. It's 8-2 Rutland in the bottom of the 7th over Windsor. That'll be a ball. Now the changes are a lot. Tom Ryder is gone to left field. Shane Tansey's in center, and Tyler Varney has gone to right field. And then I'll do the infield for you in just a second. We're talking about Windsor, of course. It's fouled off for a strike. They took Blake Wright, the pitcher, and plugged him in at first base. And Bo Taft stays at second. Greg Bortman still the shortstop, and Ryan Hart still at third base. Andrew Robbins is still behind the dish. So we're caught up to date. Rondo's on the mound. He's got a 1-1 count with Equistapes, a chance to really break this thing wide open. And it's going to be through the hole, and that's going to get at least one. And, yep, they're going to hold up the runner. But that will be an RBI for Equistapes over at first base. And again, he hit it just hard enough to find the right opening in the field. And that's the second run scored here in this inning. So Chad Ryan should be up. No, they're going to bring Trono. So Trono will come into play. He'll be at the plate for the first time today. And there is a strike from Rondos. So Trono hitting for Ryan, who hit for McGuire. How's that for a crowded spot in the lineup, huh? And that'll be high and outside for a 1-1 count now. In yesterday's game, Toronto had a base hit against Hartford. And that happened in the 8th inning. He had a single. And it is at 9-2 now. And it is a 10-run mercy rule. We've gone far enough into the ballgame where it would take effect. That's a great pitch right there, fastball and on the fist for strike 2. For the first 3 innings, Windsor led 3-0, and then Rutland really kind of got it going in the 4th, taking a 3-2 lead. Equistapes with the big hit there that gave him the 3rd run. That's going to be in fair territory. Now it's going to go foul. That was basically a pool cue shot down the first baseline. It will end up being just a foul ball strike. And everybody got to go back now. We got runners at first and third, with Equistapes being at first and Chris Parker at third. Of course, they were teammates this past season on MSJ's baseball team that was coached by Post 31's Tony Sorelli. That's going to be a foul ball. Of course, Tony Sorelli has finished up his career at MSJ, moving down to Burr and Burton. It'll be interesting to see what happens with MSJ next year. They had a very successful year this year, but they have a lot of people returning next year. But it's all a matter of putting it together. Oh, and Toronto went up and out of the strike zone for a big swing and a miss, and that'll be the first out of the inning on a strikeout. And now Sorelli will hit in Brewer's spot. This will be the first time up for Sorelli, and he's an all-around good player. I mean, he's good in the field where they have at shortstop or third. And he's obviously good at the pitching position, as you've seen throughout this early part of the season. And he's the son of a coach. I mean, he eats, drinks, and lives baseball, and his dad coached it his whole life, and it's only natural that it would follow to the son. That was a good rip at a pitch, fouled back for a strike. 0-1 the count. Rondo's on the mound for Windsor, on in relief of Blake Wright. Good pitch. Went fastball, he went breaking ball, and he's up 0-2 in the count. Now at 0-2, if he's got a changeup, you know, you don't like to throw a changeup after a curveball, breaking ball, because the speed's pretty close the same. He went fastball. Good idea. Just missed up and out of the strikes. And went up the ladder and couldn't get Sorelli to chase it, and it goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a good long look in, and now the pitch. Curveball got him, swinging, strike 3. Now that'll be 2 strikeouts in a row, and that'll be 2 down now. And John Holtman due up. Holtman back in the 3rd, got hit by a pitch. Then he walked and scored in the 5th, and he singled back in the 6th. So he's been a busy guy on base. Oh, and he got a piece of that, and Tansey in the sunlight will make the catch. That's the 3rd out, but it's now 9-2 Rutland over Windsor in American Legion Baseball action on Channel 15 Sports. Got some changes to talk about defensively for Rutland Post 31, and most of it's in the outfield. Got Mark Noble, number 18. He's gone and played left field. Joe Trono is in right field. Dorian remains in center field. Pat Guyette has gone in to play shortstop. You know, he showed me he's got a pretty swollen, mean-looking hand, but he's in the shortstop replacing Sharon. Niquista Pace remains at first. Parker is at second. Third base is McLaughlin, and that still looks like LaPlaca behind the plate, number 35. And then Sorelli, of course, number 12. Mike Sorelli starting his 2nd inning of work. We had a 1-2-3 7th. He had 2 strikeouts in that inning. 12 for Post 31 pitching now in the game. 12 strikeouts in total between Niquista Pace and Sorelli. And I'll be high and outside. I'll start off with a 1 ball, no strike count to Ben Fellows. And that actually isn't Ben Fellows. We got a change there, and I'll try to catch up to you on that. That's Tom Ryder, I believe, number 10. I'll have to wait till I can see his jersey number. Usually they announce that over the PA, but they didn't. And it's going to be down to Parker, and he'll look, just make sure he's got it, throw to first, get the out. So there is now 1 down. That's 4 retired in a row for Sorelli since coming on in relief of Niquista Pace. Shane Tansey will come up, I can tell you that for sure. So Tansey up, and he has singled and scored the game's first run, walked, and then flied out to Dorian in center field. And Sorelli, like I said, working on 4 in a row. All 4 Windsor batters he's faced have been retired, and there's a swinging strike to the left-handed hitter on a pitch on the outside corner. 0-1 the count. And pitch coming. Gonna be down and away, and I'll make it a 1-1 count now. So Niquista Pace with 10 strikeouts went 6 strong innings. Sorelli came in the 7th, struck out 2 more. He's retired 4 in a row. And Post 31 in good shape to go to 2-1 on the season. I don't want to jinx them because there's still the rest of the 8th and then the 9th inning. A 9-inning game day on Channel 15 Sports. Website's PEGTV.com. Phone number is 747-0151. Swing and a miss on a phantom curveball. 2-2 the count. And again, Sorelli. I did a JV MSJ baseball game this year, and he, in that game, I believe it was short. Yeah, he shortstopped that game, and he went to a full count out, 3 balls, 2 strikes. But he played very impressively. I don't know if he was by his choice staying on the JV level, or if they're just so loaded in the varsity level. But just a good-looking ball player. And oh, he'll get his 3rd strikeout in less than 2 innings, and he got a very good hitter in Tansey out. And now Tyler Varney up. Varney has struck out in the 1st, hit into a double play in the 3rd, and then lined out to center field, flied out to center field, where Dorian made a great catch, tracking down the ball in the gap. And Sorelli, with 5 in a row retired, will not get the call there. That'll be ball 1. It's been a very well umpired game today, both in the field and behind the plate. And that's going to be a high chopper foul. You see McLaughlin head over to the front of the dugout area for Post 31 and toss the ball right back into play. And Sorelli trying to go our second 1-2-3 inning in a row. We'll get a big swing and a miss on what looked to be a slider, but it was well out of the strike zone, but it had fooled Varney, the hitter. Now Borkman is on deck if they do get on here. That'll be out of the strike zone. Nice stop on the backhand grab by LaPlaca, making it a 2-2 count. And Sorelli catching and firing, feeling good. Gonna have another strikeout, and so he'll have 6 retired in a row, 4 on strikeouts, and we'll go to the bottom of the 8th, throwing up 9-2. So the bottom of the 8th, throwing will be around to the top of the order. Rob Dorian, due up, and I expect to see Guyette hit in Sharon's spot. That'd be the logical progression, and then McLaughlin due up. And that's going to be a strike right down the pipe by Rondos, Kyle Rondos. He came on relief of Blake Wright, and he did a nice job. Actually came on and struck out a couple hitters and got a fly ball out. Windsor at the end of 3 innings had a 2-0 lead, and then Rutland kind of took over. That's going to be the kind of casual play there, but both taps will get the out on that 4-3 ground out. So they'll get the very speedy Rob Dorian out. Now Guyette up for the first time today for post 31. He went in to replace at shortstop Matt Sharon, who had a good day at the plate and in the field for Rutland. Now Guyette. And Rondos will deliver. And see Guyette ducking out of the way. A little bit fooled on that breaking ball. And it came in high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 9-2. Rutland with the lead in the bottom of the 8th. Windsor with just 3 outs left to work with in the top of the 9th to make this thing either go to the bottom of the 9th or have a win. But they're going to be at 0-2 right now. They're looking for the first win of the year, and Rutland at 1-1. Rondos, big kick on him and delivers, and it's going to be a foul ball right off the fist back into the screen and be retrieved by the catcher, Andrew Robbins. Like I said, I got a lot of games coming up on Channel 15. Wood Post 31, Bennington, Chester, Fairhaven. And you can look for the schedule on the website. Nice job of holding up right there. Either on the website at PEGTV.com, on the bulletin board they have it, and Sam's Good News, they have the TV listings for all 3 channels, Channel 15, 20, and 21. And Rondos will sneak that one on the inside corner and have a full count now. So Guyette, who I was talking to before the game, like I said, showed me his hand was all swollen up and had problem gripping the bat and the ball. I was surprised to see him being put in the ball game, but just because he told me that might mean he did not tell the coach that. But he's out there hacking away, and he's going to get the walk. And that will be the first base runner against Rondos since he's came on in relief, and now McLaughlin. McLaughlin 2 for 3 today. He's had a double and a single. He scored 3 runs, and he's also been on base via the error. But he's been seeing the ball and hitting the ball very well. He's a good ball player anyways. And a throw to first, and Guyette will be back safe ahead of the throw. The tag was applied anyways by Blake Wright, who went from the pitching mound to first base. And that got a chance, and yep, it's going to be sending the runner to third base. Guyette, with that speed, will be there standing up. So McLaughlin, with his 3rd hit of the day, has runners at the corners now for post 31. And that ball was stung. Now LaPlaca up. He has reached on an error, struck out, walked, and hit a double and drove in a run. So LaPlaca, chance to do some more damage. There is the 10-run mercy rule. Not that we're at that point yet. We're at 9-2. But if you want to be hypothetical, if he hits a home run, it's 12-2, and we can all go home. Yeah. But that's going to be ball 1. 1-0 the count. 1 ball, no strikes. And Rondos to the plate will be high this time. So he missed high, he missed low, and he's got a 2-0 count. Behind LaPlaca is Chris Parker on deck. So again, the offense that waited till the 9th inning against Hartford yesterday to come to life came to life early today, and it's been very effective all through the lineup. That's going to be to third base. He'll throw, whoops, there's 1. And nice stop at first base. The run does score, but they get the out, and I believe LaPlaca beat the throw out. I'm waiting for the call, and sorry about the camera work. I just missed the play. So Guyette scores. McLaughlin's out, and LaPlaca is safe. Okay. And Parker will be at the plate, so that's now 10-2 with 2 down. And Rondos. I tried to be better on the camera than that. I'm sorry about that. I'll improve, I guess. Ball strike to Parker. Parker has doubled, grounded out to third base in the 5th inning, singled in the 4th and scored. And he's the guy that started the whole double play thing off back in the 2nd. If Rutland holds on, this will become a 1-1 league record, a 2-1 overall record. And like I've already told you, the 13th of July, Bellows Falls will be here at 5:30. And then the 18th of July, you will have Woodstock here at 5:30. That'll be high. And those are both going to be good games. Good ball clubs are taking on. Oh, you know, it's easy to say. I think there's going to be just a lot of parity all through the league. I think everybody's good this year. I think Windsor, if they go to 0-3, will be very deceptive 0-3. They'll be a very good 0-3 team. And going around real estate. Yeah, that'll be foul ball out of play for a strike. So LaPlaca will head back to first base. Hey, you know what I didn't tell you? Oh, it is Parker. I did tell you that. Okay. So I'm okay. I've told you everything you need to know. So Parker, with a 1-2 count. I'm telling you, everybody's pace is slowed down here, except for Mike Sorelli, who's pitching, just catching and firing. But the rest of the game's kind of hit that heat wave lull here in the bottom of the 8th. And boy, you talk about getting a cut. He hacked away at that and fouled it off to stay at 1-2. Tell you, it took a while, and I didn't think they were going to get their offense started. But Rutland now, in the last 5 innings, been real good. They've looked good in the field. They had good pitching from Equistapace, from Sorelli. They've been getting hits throughout from the top to the bottom of the order. And Parker will swing through, and that'll be the 3rd out. We'll go to the 9th. Rutland a chance to seal the deal here, and I'll be sure. I'm positive it'll be Sorelli coming out to get the job done. So Mike Sorelli, who's faced 6 Windsor hitters, has struck out 4 and induced a ground ball out to shortstop and a ground ball out to second base. Looking to get everything finished up here in the 9th. Is going to be looking at Borkman, Robbins, and Wright. And the first pitch will be a ball. Now I know his main objective is not to be a perfect 9 for 9. It's to get out of the inning the most efficient way he can. And it'll be ball 2. 2-0. That one was outside also. And that defense still has Equistapace at first, Parker at second, Guyette still at short, and McLaughlin remains at third. And behind the dish is LaPlaca, and 3 balls, no strikes. First 3-ball count of the afternoon for Mike Sorelli. Trono remains in right field, Dorian's in center, and Noble is in left. Windsor down 8 runs, needs at least 8 here to keep this thing going, and Sorelli will give up his first base runner on 4 straight balls. Now the catcher, Robbins, is up. Andrew Robbins struck out in the 1st, walked in the 4th, and then struck out in the 6th. But that was all against Equistapace. This will be his first look at Mike Sorelli. Oh, we got a piece of it. Dorian's going to come and have to stop that one on 1 bounce. And the runner will be at second. See him going back first and second base. So Windsor, with runners at first and second, nobody down. Remember, no lead is insurmountable. Now Blake Wright was grounded out to Equistapace when he was pitching, popped up to the shortstop, which was Matt Sharon at that time, and then struck out his last time up. And Sorelli back to work. We'll have a strike. Oh God, no, 10-2. I've seen bigger leads disappear in the last at-bats than this. And it's going to be a nice stop by LaPlaca. And they'll keep the runners at first and second, and it'll be ball 1. 1-1 to count. I told you we'd make it all 9 innings. The weather was very decent and never got up to a mercy rule situation. And so Mike Sorelli, with a long look in, couldn't decide on what he wanted to throw this time. They'll recycle the signs and pick a pitch out right now. And on the way, it's going to be high. No, it's going to be a strike. That'll be 1 ball, 2 strikes. Looking for the first out of the top of the 9th. Windsor at the plate with the green uniforms on, and post 31 of Rutland out there in their red, white, and blue uniforms. Nice stop. Boy, I tell you what, LaPlaca. Look like a Venus flytrap on that. Got it. 2-2 the count. As we look right in, we'll get the sign and the target from the catcher, and he got it right where he wanted it. It's going to be hit to the opposite field for the base hit, and they're going to send the runner home, and smartly you will see them come into cutoff. And the reason that's smart, they probably were not going to get the runner at home base. Workman, he has good speed, and if you throw all the way through, then the runners move up to second and third. So a walk and 2 singles, and it's now 10-3. And Ryan Hardup, he struck out twice and grounded out to Matt Sharon. And Jeff Brewer, pitching coach, assistant coach, third base coach, got a lot of titles. He'll come out and talk to Mike Sorelli and just kind of settle him down, tell him to go back to do what he did the first 2 innings, which is to throw outs. Oh, you know, I mean, I never know what a coach is telling him, honestly. Whether it's just give him some confidence, or he's seen something mechanically, or he didn't like the what he was throwing for pitches and sequencing. But that'll be a visit to the mound in the 9th in a 10-3 game. And at the plate is Ryan Hart. Good pitch. That's just a good old-fashioned fastball right there, and that makes it strike 1. There's nobody down. 1 run in. Runners at first and second. Windsor chipping away here, staying in the ball game. That could be a double play. Nope, that's going to be nothing. They will chase it down, and that will be, I believe, the first error of the ball game. And the plaque is going to come out and talk to Sorelli. And the bases are loaded, and yeah, I'm looking through my book. Even though I'm unofficial, I can still have an opinion. So Rondo's up, bases loaded, nobody down, and a base hit here could make it real interesting. It's 10-3 right now. Good arms in the outfield. But I'm not sure if Guyette's hand that he showed me had anything to do with that. He had a couple errors against Hartford yesterday, and that was an error there. But Rondo's up, bases loaded, table set for a big comeback. Swing and a miss on a fastball. He was way late on the swing. Makes it 0-1. So Sorelli, who cruised through the first 2 innings of work, working a little bit of a pickle here. Well, that's a nice pitch. I'm not sure what that was, but that was masterful. He's up in the count quickly, 0-2 to Rondos. And we'll just eluded the grip of Anthony LaPlaca, who's had a couple this season. Nice catches on foul tips, but couldn't hold that one, and they'll stay at 0-2. And boy, wouldn't he like to get number 5 strikeout right here. And the pitch, going to be low. LaPlaca with a nice job of grabbing and trying to bring it back up and frame it. Couldn't sneak the call. It'll be 1 ball, 2 strikes. And don't forget, too, I mean, yeah, the bases loaded, which favors obviously Windsor, but also puts the odds of a double play at better rate for post 31. But Sorelli will get his 5th strikeout in not quite 3 innings of work, also the first out. And post 31's already turned 1 double play back in the 3rd. Now Bo Taft up. He had a bunt, single, and scored in the 3rd, and then he has struck out his last 2 times up. But this is his first look, I believe, at Mike Sorelli. Troy trying to bunt. I'll tell you what was unique about that. The bases are loaded, okay? There's 1 out, right? He laid down a bunt, and the guy at third base never moved. Foul or not, you don't know if that's foul or not. On a bases loaded situation, the bunt, you've got no choice. You have to break for the plate instantly. It's not a safety squeeze. Your bases are full. But the guy at third base never moved an inch. Almost like he didn't know what was happening. And there's strike 2. Now I'm wondering, now they took the bunt off. Was it a missed sign by Bo Taft? Or was it a missed sign by the third base runner? But you know he's got the third base coach standing next to him. But it's an 0-2 count, and that's a lot of what ifs, but no answers. Oh, good call by the umpire, but a nice pitch by Sorelli. It'll be 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's 10-3 Rutland in the top of the 9th, but Windsor making a charge here. He's got the bases loaded, and that's going to be outplay. That's going to be way outplay. It's going to be over on River Street. And on deck is Tom Ryder, I believe, number 10. I'll have to wait until they announce it because they made a change in the lineup, and they never announced the last time he came to the plate. And that hit the bat, and that became a foul ball. He didn't mean to do it, but he did it, and that makes it still a 1-2 count. If it doesn't bounce up and hit the bat, it goes to 2-2, but it's irrelevant because it hit the bat. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. A little chin music. I don't think he meant to move him back off the plate other than he just missed the spot, but it becomes 2 balls, 2 strikes. And see if he'll come with the breaking ball at 2-2 now. He does, and it's going to be pulled down to McLaughlin. He'll bobble it, and everybody's going to be safe again. And so post 31, who had been perfect in the field, now with errors, 2 errors in this 9th inning, and that not only allows the run to score, but it keeps the bases loaded with 1 out. And I missed who they said it was. Doesn't that stink? I waited and waited and waited, and then I got doing my book, and I missed it. It sure looks like number 10, but I can't see his jersey number from where I'm located in center field. He's left-handed, that's for sure. And Tom Ryder throws right-handed out in the field now. Whether he's batting a switch hitter, I don't know. But it's 10-4 now and a couple errors. And that's going to be a... No, I thought it was fair. It's going to be a foul ball for a strike. Everybody will have to go back. Boy, wouldn't that have been something? That would have been a fair ball. That definitely got 2 runs in. But Sorelli started to swing off by issuing a walk, and then back-to-back singles, an error, a strikeout, and an error. And that's where we got where we're at right now. 10-4, bases loaded, 1 out. And he'll be low there. And a double play, like I said, when the bases are loaded, you have a lot more options on how to create a double play. So, yeah, it's a big deal for Windsor to have the bases loaded, but, boy, if you could reach in and pull out a double play right now, that'd be nice for post 31. That was a great rip. He liked that pitch. That was one of those horizontal fouls, but it will go for a strike and make it a 2-2 count. So Mike Sorelli getting his money's worth here in the 9th, having to do some work. From the mound, we'll look in, and from the stretch, that'll be spanked foul. That was a great job, and it is number 10, which is Tom Ryder. He turned around and I saw it. So Ryder did a great job with 2 strikes, reaching out to that far corner and just fouling the ball off and stay alive at 2-2. 10-4. At one point, it was Windsor up 2-0. Then Rutland went on a tear, and they have a 10-4 lead now. Rutland does. That was close. That's a great job of trying to sell it by McLaughlin, but it was a correct call. He was safe, but that was a really close play. And I'll tell you what, if he gets picked off from third base in this situation, 9th inning, trying to rally, he would not stop hearing me all the way home on the bus ride, or however they got here. That's going to be a foul ball. So again, Ryder doing a nice job of spoiling some good pitches by Sorelli, staying alive with those 2 strikes. As we will wait, they had to get the ball back into play to Sorelli, and the pitch. Well, I tell you what, he's worked that, and nobody's moving up on that because they don't be taken out at home base. He's worked it back. Should be a 3-2 count. There they go. Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Big pitch coming up. It could force a run in. Bases loaded, 1 down. 10-4 Rutland. Windsor at the plate. We're in the top of the 9th, and Rutland trying to preserve the win here. And that's going to be to Quistapace. He'll step on the bag, and he'll concede the run. And Quistapace extremely short-handed. He is an outstanding fielder. But it'll go 10-5 now, but 2 outs. That's more important. 2 outs. And the top of the order, Shane Tansey up. So Tansey could be the last hope here in a 10-5 game now, but 2 down in the 9th. And Sorelli wants to come to the inside corner, and he went upstairs, and that's just a big swing by Tansey, and he'll miss the high fastball for strike 1. 0-1 to count from St. Peter's Field on Channel 15 Sports, Windsor and Rutland in American Legion Baseball. And that'll be too far outside. Right idea. He went up and then tried to go out, and he'll miss that. It'll be 1 ball, 1 strike. And again, very disappointed in the size of the crowd here. I mean, probably just the moms and dads. You really you do whatever you want. You don't have to listen to me, but you know, it's a community event here. These are your guys representing Legion, the American Legion, for God's sakes. stop on in. You don't have to stay the whole game. Just stop by for an inning or two, take some action in, enjoy it. And that'll be a ball. Sorelli with a long look in. It's not going to get the call. It'll be 3 balls, 1 strike. But no, it'd be nice to see some people in the stands for a ball game. So Sorelli with a 3-1 count. It's going to take it 1 pitch at a time, and that could be the ball game. Parker says he got it. I have no doubt to doubt him, and he will make the catch, and they will win 10-5. And Sorelli will come on in relief of Equistapace. They did a good job together as a duo. And Zach Equistapace will get the win. There's Big Zach as he'll walk out and pick the ball up. A good team effort. They rebound from that loss to Hartford, and they get a league win here, their first league win of the season. And again, get out there, support Legion Baseball, support Public Access Television, and support Munger Vision. Good job by everybody involved. And even Windsor did a nice job out here. They came back and never gave up. 10-5 Rutland with the win.